mission, just to kind of give you an overview of how it's put together, and you can go back and look at this later. Okay, so first, obviously we have the airplanes, right? They do have some waypoints installed. They don't have a lot of functionality in the L39 as much as they would in other airplanes. They're here just for your visual, to give you time speed difference.
Quick question, where are you streaming?
Twitch.
Do I have your Twitch channel?
I don't know. I think it's VTB_arrow.
Okay, now I see you.
Okay. All right, so what we're looking at is generally, and a lot of this might be pretty basic stuff, but I just for the sense, or just for the purposes of overview. All right, these are all trigger zones here, circular, and they are all prefixed with TGZ dash. And I just do that so when you look at your listings, like view unit list and so forth, you can actually see, actually not in unit list, but sorry, when you're applying certain triggers to certain roles, it's very easy to find them because it's not always obvious. All right, so you'll see many trigger zones. This was done differently in Burning Lake than it was in VFAT. In VFAT, we had, for example, if you're looking at Show Center here, all right, we had the 3 mile point, which is right here. All right, that's West Point. Now, in VFAT, we basically had a giant trigger zone around West Point, and it was reused for multiple things.
Okay.
In other words, anytime a unit, either a solo or diamond, their ingress from West Point, that trigger would fire. All right. Well, as you are well aware, that failed when you missed a trigger by cutting inside of it, and then when the diamond came back around later, it fired your trigger.
Yeah.
We had the wrong sound. So the difference in that mission and this one, in one way, is that each maneuver has its own trigger. All right, so like you'll see banana, okay? That's specifically for the banana pass, okay? The scorpion, you see that here. The 8-point roll, right? The let's see what else. Here's the bridge trigger late in the show. The Lagavulin, where that fires. The Clover right. You get it, right?
Yep.
All right, so the reason that was done was that way each maneuver has to hit its own trigger point, and that fires all of the appropriate parameters. All right, so now your question was, all right, so how you want to know, how do you create, these are all the triggers. Okay, so how do you create radio options, right?
Yes.
All right, so mission start. Let's start right here. All right, so this is the restart mission trigger, and all that was done is everything is based on a flag. All right. Now flag values like this, flag 999, value of 1. When that condition is sensed by the system, we would just reload the mission. All right, load the Burning Lake trigger mission. Okay. So that's just sitting there, and it's, if you'll notice, it's that type of action, it happens once. All right, so let's move down. So now this is the mission start trigger. All right, it happens once. It happens on mission start. All right, there's no conditions because it's just the mission start. All right, now here's where I set all my flag values. Okay, all this is me saying flag 1 equals 1, flag 2 equals 0, whatever reasons. I have reasons for each one of them. I'm just telling the mission, okay, when I start up, I need these flags to be set at these certain values. Okay, what do these flags mean? Well, maybe we'll get into that. All right, but also what we do is we add radio item on mission start, and this is kind of answering your question. Radio item add for group. All right, the camjet restart mission, so it gives him that, and it also gives him the preloader. Okay, so all this does is when we set radio item add for group, all right, This is who, the group, right? And then what we want to call it. This could be anything. This could be any words you want. And this is what we're telling it to do. Flag 9991, okay? All right, ready? On mission start, radio, we say flag value 999 is set to 0. That's how we start. Then we add the radio item to the camjet, all right, and then the result of them selecting that would be 999 equals 1. Well, now remember this guy, all right? It happens once. It's a continuous search. It's looking for 9991 if it sees it. Load mission, VBL 2018 trigger. Okay? So that's how you add them. All right? And that's one example of what the trigger is doing, or what that flag value is doing.
Okay.
Okay, so now going down. All right, solo. This is the solo's radio. This is the diamond's radio. Okay? So let's just stick with the diamond, keep it simple. Again, it happens at mission start. We're going to say, we call the trigger, we just call it diamond radio, so it says diamond radio in here, you can see that. Alright, and this is what we're telling it to do. Add these items. Clover left, alright, it's for what group? Vulture Diamond. So any airplane in the Vulture Diamond group. Alright, and just to illustrate that, I think this is camjet. Oh, jeez, hold on. Yeah, that's camjet, right? So this is the Vulture Diamond group. This is the Vulture Diamond group, okay? Obviously, it's airplanes 1 through 4. And this is the solo group, okay? So that's who we're referring to in those triggers.
Okay.
Alright, so back to this. So mission start, diamond radio, okay? We say we're going to, so any airplane, any of those 4 airplanes in that group will get that radio option up front. And it's going to, and the result of selecting that radio option selects flag 1 to value of 1, okay? So now let's just forward to that. I got to find it though. Probably... Give me a second here. Okay. All right, so here's the first. This is showing that event. Okay, so so continuous action, which means it's always looking for it. All right, the name of it, I just call it number 1 hack, and then these are the conditions that must be set for the following to occur. Flag 1 equals 1. Okay, so if you selected that radio option, that makes this true. Okay. Unit is inside the zone, either arrow is in trigger zone 1, the hack point. My heading is 0 between 070 and 110. Alright, and then if other things happen where you're in TZ1 because you're entering as a solo, right? Same headings, same all that stuff, but this flag has to be hot. Or Dano is, which would have been in this demo, he's 6 jet. Alright, not him as alternate leader.
Right.
Okay, within in the same parameters as this. So either one of those 3 airplanes would make the following occur. Message to all, hack. Follow the smoke markers to enter. We play the Clover Left intro, which is this.
Yep.
The hack sound, right? And then set flag 1. Alright, next is to a value of 4. Flag 10 to 0, flag 60 to 2, flag 50 to 3. I know that's all confusing. You'd have to go through each one of these. Alright, so flag 1 goes to 4. So if we go back, because what's my next maneuver as the diamond pot after the entry? Do you remember?
After the entry, after your Clover left?
Yeah. Well, the whole hack entry is right here. And it's timed this way because at 300 knots in that climb, You have to be at 1,000 feet when you cross over the hack point. If you follow this trail,
Right.
the music is timed, so you're going to hit right here, right at the right time. You go and you fly the clover left. You come out. All right. And what's my next maneuver?
Well, you're doing the entry to the clover left.
No, I've done the clover left. I'm outbound, coming around, making my right turn, and I'm going to do a trail to Diamond Belly.
Yep.
All right, but if you look at it, all right, so first event is this. The second maneuver is 2. The third maneuver is 3, right?
Yep.
The fourth maneuver is 4. All right, which is why the hack event sets Diamond Flag 1 to a value of 4, because the next event I want to trigger as a Diamond pilot is trigger 4.
All right, so that's basically going from the flag value 1-4 is then taking your first maneuver. When you're done with that, or when that trigger is done, I should say, it's going to set to look for trigger 4.
It's going to look for a flag 1 value
Or flag,
of
I
4.
mean, yeah.
All right, so it says, okay, once I hit, when any one of these 3 conditions exist or occur, which is me in the zone or either one of my solo pilots are in that zone, all right, that happens. We're on heading. All that stuff happens. We hack, we play the sound, and now I say, okay, the next thing I'm looking for is Diamond. All right, I'm saying their next maneuver is going to be maneuver 4. So I set flag 1, which basically is the Diamond, all right, to a value of 4. 10 to 0, 60 to 2, and 50 at 3. Okay, so what's all this shit about? Well, 60, let's look at the second maneuver in the demo. Second maneuver is the knife edge. And what has to be true for the knife edge to happen? All right, let's look at it on the map. All right, the knife edge. Where is trigger 5? Should be over here somewhere. Here it is. Knife edge trigger. Okay, I just highlighted it. All right, that's the area. Okay, that's maneuver 2 in the show. Coming from this side, you have a nice wide berth because of you can hit it from here or here and you're still going to be on time. All right, so we look in here and we go, okay, so in order for maneuver 2 to happen, which by the way, while everybody is watching, let's actually hold on, the audio's not. You're not hearing the sounds from just our voices. All right, anyway, that sound was a nightmare. Yeah. Okay, for that to happen, so unit either is that knife edge? Right. So it's flag 5 equals 2. So unit inside zone Dano has to be inside that trigger, and his heading has to be from 70 to 110. Or the other thing that fires that is Dano's dead, meaning he's not in the mission. Time since flag 60, which we changed in the first one, is at least 170 seconds, because, by the way, that's how long it takes. All right? Yeah. Between the hack point and the entry. Flag 60 equals 2, flag 5 equals 2. All right? Flag, once it occurs, we play the message, we play the sound, we set flag 5 to 3. Why? Because the next maneuver is 3.
Yep.
And then we reset 60, which is like kind of a placeholder. And we move on to this one. All right, but now this is just the solo shit. Back to just focusing on the Diamond. Here's this, all right? 1 to 4, 10 to 0, 60 to 2, 5 to 3. Let's go to 4. Okay, what happens when I come around for the trail to Diamond Belly? Flag 1 now has to equal 4. Arrows in the zone, the trail to Diamond Belly zone, which is right here, and it's huge. Look how big it is. Why? Because you never know how this, sometimes it gets wider, whatever it is. As long as we're in this zone, we fly out here, we make the turn, we can hit it shallow, we can stretch, we can come in deeper, whatever we want to do. You can almost come in straight from the bomb burst and you're still going to fire that trigger. Okay? Alright, so that has to happen, and I have to be in any heading between 115 and 180 degrees. Anywhere from south, almost east to south. Anywhere from here to this way, well, here, to show people. All right, anywhere from 180 to 115. So you can hit it anywhere in here, as long as you enter that thing. So that's how that works. And then once that fires, all right, now The diamond flag now gets set to 7. Why? Because the diamond's next one is maneuver 7, the banana. You see that?
Yep. Yep.
All right, so you kind of get the idea. You can go through this and you can look at each one and see how many things, and you can definitely see how, all these different things are happening, and you could trace it through. But that's really it. I mean, there's nothing more about it that's super cosmic.
Okay, what about the radio menu options? Being able to go back to selecting a different one.
Right. Okay. So let's say we said, okay, set flag 9. Wait, hold on. Let's go back to diamond radio. Okay. Let's say, pick any maneuver that we want to go fly.
Lagavulin.
Okay, we're gonna do Lagavulin. So by selecting that radio option, we do that. So what is happening in the mission's mind when we select that radio? What's occurring?
It's resetting back to just before the trigger for the Lagavulin. So it's
tell me programmatically what's happening.
Well, it's going to the value for the maneuver, which was 11. So it's looking for the continuous action of 11.
Wait,
which is where you're going to start.
It's
flag 1.
Right, flag 1 is getting set to a value of 11. That's all we're doing. All right? That's all we've done. By selecting that radio command, all we've done is we said flag 1 equals 11. That's it.
Right.
Okay, so now...
Stand by.
Yeah.
Into the vertical, transitioning back into the diamond while performing a slow barrel roll. This maneuver personifies the art of formation flying. This is the Trail to Diamond Lagavulin.
Alright, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so all you've done is you set flag 1 to 11. So all these continuous actions are always going. Every, I don't know what the refresh rate is, but probably every millisecond or something. All right? So finally, eventually, at some point, it's going to say, wait, hold on. Flag 1 equals 11. That's true. All right, now, is this also true? Is arrow in trigger zone 11, the Lagavulin trigger zone, heading between 220 and 280? Well, let's see. So we look and we go, here's the Lagavulin zone, and is his airplane, the lead airplane, whoever's flying that airplane, in that zone. So basically, where's 280? 220 and 280. So there's 220 degrees. You can see that heading. So, more down the shoreline and then up to 280. So again, a nice wide berth, because you never know. On this repo, if I have to stretch and make the turn, I may enter here. I may enter up here because the solo lagged. Because, that way you can enter as long as those conditions exist. All right, so we selected to fire the Lagavulin event. When that happens, it says Lagavulin, message to all, we play the sound. Now we set automatically the diamond's flag to 13. Why? Because the diamond's next maneuver is the loop, maneuver 13. Okay, and then you have to go look through it yourself to see why 10 and 50 get set to these other maneuvers, because you're setting up other placeholders, for different guys.
Right.
All right, so more or less, once that trigger fires, the what'll happen is all the other parameters automatically get set, so the show continues from that spot, from Lagavulin or slow roll or whatever you're doing. Doesn't matter. So that's what those radio commands were going to do, and that's why each one of these trigger actions that occur I have them set so from that point it goes forward. All right,
Right.
so you can literally go to this point and start the show and go there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Go from there. So, and by the way, these are just the preloaders, and this is it's kind of important because all these do the preloaders is basically uses a new flag 900, 901, 902, blah 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 blah, all up to 921 to play all 21 sound files.
Right.
You know, so every sound file in the mission is played once everybody is in, and that will prevent lag.
Now I've got a question for you. Since I'm putting my thing through my head. If let's say we're all 6 and we decide to switch up positions, just I haven't really gone through it, but it's just an idea that popped in my head. We go ahead and we switch positions. So Dano is no longer number 1. Let's say Slot is now number 1, and Dano is not or we don't want the whatever's going to be played as a sound to come off of Dano's plane. We want it to come off of now the Slot planes. Number 4. Let's say is the sound bite, and talking about Slot now instead of Dano. Is there a way that you can select in, say, the menu option in the F10 menu or radio menu when you're at a certain point or before that certain point, that now this jet, number 4 jet, is now in the lead, and as everybody hits that trigger, only the number 4 soundbite will play?
Yeah, you could, but the only way to do it, here, let's just look at, here, let's just take the banana, for example. Well, actually, hold on. This is a better example. The hack event is a good example because it says, yeah, you could do that with plane 1 is inside the zone, or,
Yeah.
all right,
Okay.
Splash's plane's in the zone, or Dano's plane. And remember, this is not by user. This is by who flew
By
the
aircraft,
demo.
it's specific.
Yeah, this is the 6 jet. This is the 5 jet. This is the 1 jet. So in
Right.
order to make what you just said, let's say you want the Slot plane. All right, all you would do here is I'm gonna put an or. You're just gonna literally do this, and then you're gonna clone. And then it's a little cumbersome. I'm just cloning these, right? Moving them down.
Right.
And then I'll
Right.
do it with this. Watch. All right, so now this still needs to be true. This still needs to be almost true, but we're going to do this. We're going to say, okay, hold on. It's not Dano anymore. We want it to also work for Samat. Whoever, right?
Right.
Okay, so, and then we do
It
the same
doesn't-
thing. Well, actually, it would have been E-Strike. He flew Slot, so let's do E-Strike.
Okay, so, but
Uh,
I have a monkey. That's my monkey. He's doing that to my arm. I just happened to be while I was pushing down the microphone. All right, Sebastian. Okay, so if I wanted, though, a specific soundbite to only play for that jet, even though all aircraft are, say, in a formation, you know what I mean? Like, let's say the Diamond itself is coming in.
you want it to only play for him?
I wanted to only play a soundbite that talks about him, not about the other ones. But it also depends. If we, during the training, if we want to, I'm trying to come up with ideas for something.
All right, so
Interesting.
I think
But
I understand what you're asking. So if 1 isn't there and 4 takes over the lead, right?
right,
All right, so basically this wouldn't be like this, right? So watch. What would happen is this, okay? I'm going to take this event and I'm going to clone it. All right, I'm going to rename hack event and I'm going to rename this to hack 4, okay?
okay,
Now watch. Okay, so now it's the same rule. This is the hack event, but I'm going to do this hack 4. So now I'm going to say this. I'm going to say instead of arrow, it's strike, but just bear with me here.
yep,
And then same thing here. All right, and now watch. And something else has to happen in every one of these other ones. I'm going to say new. Unit is dead because arrow got logged out Like that never happens. What unit? Arrow. Okay, and I'm going to clone that.
Yeah, that never happens during an air show.
Right. Okay, so that's your new rule. Watch. So we got the hack event. This is everything's normal. I think I broke something here, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then this is the hack 4 event, which is the same, basically the same rule. Everything else has to be true except for you have Strike now moved up to the lead. All right, everything else is true, and Arrow's gone. He logged out. He lagged out of the mission. All right, these still are true, and the same rule, Arrow has to be out of the mission, and the same here. Now the difference is over here on the action that you do. Everything else, because we want to still go to the next thing, we're going to set all our flags. Nothing changed. The only thing different is instead of this sound file,
it's then going to play.
It plays a different sound file. It's a different rule, just a different trigger event.
Okay.
All right.
Now, is there also a way to do it? I mean, if you don't put in the unit dead, let's say all 4 are still flying there, but Dano's moved back to slot. Now Strike is up front. And there's a specific soundbite talking about only Strike, and that was the reason why he then takes center stage. Is there, if I don't put in the unit dead, would it play both triggers or basically both flags, or
no,
would it?
If you take this out, and this out, and this out, and by the way, this one's missing this last line, but that's okay for the...
Yeah.
All right, so if you left both of these as they are, all right, the hack event, let's say, fired, and then this event would also be true. They would both occur, and nothing would be different. These are identical, assuming you had a diamond.
Yeah.
So what would happen is, as soon as this happens, the sound plays. If you play a sound, it overwrites whatever was playing before it.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that during the show.
Right. So it'll cut it off if you're early.
Okay. All right. So there's really no way for, I mean, unless if I just stick with the jet numbers, number 1 is still there. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are still there. For training purposes, number 1 flies through the trigger. Everything happens as normal. Now, the next time we come around, if I wanted number 4 to be in number 1 spot for a different sound bite, only for number 4 to play, for him by selecting that he is now going to be hitting that trigger instead of number 1, then there's really no way to actually do that, right? I guess I don't know if I'm asking the question correctly.
I guess I don't understand what you're asking. I suppose. What do you?
Yeah,
tell me what happened. Like, talk me through, like what's going on. Okay, so the diamond comes through. They hit the hack. They do the first maneuver. That happens.
Right.
They come around for the second maneuver, and what's happened?
Well, I'm not going off of like the Burning Lake mission. It's basically just like a grind that I'm working on.
Yeah, but I just need to use it because we have something to look at here.
Okay. All right. So we've come around, and now you're repoing for, say, the belly. Okay, because that's the next maneuver. So you're coming in for the Trail the Diamond belly, but number 4 is now lead, and it's a sound bite that talks about number 4 and his duties in the diamond.
But he's now
okay.
lead?
So he's center stage basically. Okay, so as you come around for the next one, or if you go back through that trigger, number 3 is now up front, show center, so there's a soundbite only for number 3, but it's not every single time.
That's just a matter of you selecting the sound files you want to play as they come through.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I mean, it just so happens that when we come around for the Trail to Diamond Belly, this is the sound that we told the mission to play.
Okay, but can somebody else select a different sound bite when they fly through the trigger?
Wait, what now?
Can somebody, just curious, can you have anybody select a different soundbite that plays through that trigger, or do you create a new trigger and somebody just selects that trigger? Like we would do, for example.
You could, but the way that would have to work is these numberings wouldn't really work anymore, but you would have to basically, through the radio commands, say some other rule that, when 4 is set, when trigger 1 is set to 4, these events would happen, but another condition would be met is which highlight, let's say you wanted to run. So let's say like the highlight flag, let's just say there was a highlight flag, says we're highlighting the 4-jet, and it's a radio command. So you set, now trigger, let's say flag 40 to 1. So it could be either 10, 20, 30, or 40 to pick your guy. Who's going to have the highlight in this. So you could pick that in a radio command, let's say from the camera jet. You say, okay, we're going to set flag 40 to 1. All right, so now every time this condition was met, we'd have an additional option, but it would be a different rule. It'd be flag 1 equals 4 and flag 40 equals 1. All right?
Yeah.
So it'd be like this. All right, I'm just going to, let me get rid of that. Let me go back to that Trail to Diamond belly. We're going to clone it, this, and we're going to say, we're going to call it the belly. Rename it slot. All right, so it would be like this. We'd say that, but also flag 40, because we're highlighting, let's say, the slot pilot, would be 1. All right, unit inside zone. We don't care what arrow's doing at this point. We only care, we could do both, doesn't matter, but we're going to make it E-strike. All right, so flag 1 equals 4 for the maneuver, flag 40 equals 1 for the highlight, all right? And then, so E-strike, all the same rules, same message, but let's say we wanted to say the text would be Trail to Diamond Belly, like that. And then we play a different sound file, right? Everything else is true, right? Because we're not changing who's highlighted. And by the way, on mission start, for the diamond, or let's say camjet, let's go to camjet, which was here, right? We're going to clone this, and we're going to say, it's just a new cam file, and this is what we're doing, 40 equals 1. We move it up. So anyway, so when the mission starts, camjet gets this, says we're going to highlight slot, so he does that. He selects 40 equals 1. So when we come around to here, if 1 equals 4, which is the maneuver trigger for the diamond, the unit, did I get that right? This one, right. 1 equals 4. 40 also equals 1 because we're highlighting E-strike. This is going to happen. But here's the other problem. This is still true. So these are both going to fire. So the other thing you would have to do here is you would have to say, okay, so flag equals 1, 40 equals 1, unit inside zone, and there's one other thing. And then we're going to say, we're going to make a new one, a new condition that has to be met, and we're going to say time since flag. And I'll tell you why in a second.
I'm with you.
Time since flag 1 equals 4. Okay, we just set 1 because it just happened. Actually, hold on, is that true? No, that's not true. Okay, so you see flag 1? When this, either one of these fires, either one of these rules fire, flag 1's going to change to 7, 10 to 0. These are all going to happen. Okay, so one of them is going to happen first. So we want this one to happen second. So we're going to say 1 second. All right, we're going to move this up. Okay, so it's going to say, so these are going to fire simultaneously, both of these, all right?
Right.
But this one's going to say, I'm not going to fire until flag 1 was set 1 second later. So before this sound even has a chance to play.
The diamond is transition.
All right, this one is going to say, and it's going to take over and play, and now this one's going to fire over the top of that one.
Okay.
All right, so that you could absolutely do that by setting, again, a mission trigger here in the camjet's radio option saying, yeah, we're going to highlight slot for this demo. Okay, and then, of course, all the rules here, which would be the Trail to Diamond Belly standard, and then the slots version, which is going to occur 1 second after standard because it's the same thing. That's assuming that you don't have the dead event and all that shit in there, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's doable, you know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not something that it's I'm even really thinking about doing. It's just that I'd be good to know that it's possible to do something like that in case I end up actually going through my thoughts. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, as another example, imagine the six of us are flying back to base. We're all in echelon, like we love to do. But now, instead of you being in lead, Butsky's in lead, but we want something from like ATC to be announced as you guys come in, or as we all come into the overhead break to land at Kataisi. Okay, and instead of it being, instead of ATC saying Vulture 1, Flight of 6, clear to land, it would say Vulture 3, Flight of 6, clear to land. Because he came and hit, that spot, that trigger spot.
Yeah, and there is an RTB trigger here, and it's huge. Look at it, and it fires the landing music and all that. But it's all the same rules. You can go use highlighting. You could use dead. If guys got bumped, and it's all. That's why I wanted to stream this, so you can go back and check it out, because that definitely got answered in there.
Right.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
Go through all these. You have the mission. And yeah, I think I think what I just showed you. If you look through these, you can see every single one, and I'm just flipping through them so anybody that might want to be streaming could actually pause it.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
This is
that actually helped. It helped quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, good. And that's every single trigger.
Right. Sweet, dude.
Yep. And that's basically how that works. I wish I could put I'm sure I could. I just don't know how to send a hyperlink to the actual. Somebody actually now going and seeing this demo or this mission, and now going and watching the show, because it's kind of cool to see what's under the hood. And people would. I know a lot of people would be like, "Why on earth would you share how you did that?" And my answer to that, and since we're talking about it, is really, really simple. My answer to that is because I want every team to do this.
Exactly.
Because I want not 400 people watching a live stream air show. I want 3,000.
Yep. And
until the quality's better. Yeah, the quality's shit, and I think the stream quality's garbage. People, their presentation, their flying might be great, but the presentation's shit, and I think that's what's holding it back.
Yep.
So that's why I feel like I should share it.
Definitely. All right, brother. I gotta cut this short.
Yeah, no worries.
I gotta get the kids to bed.
Yeah, buddy.
I'll try to get on tonight. If I'm not on tonight, I'll be gone. Like I said, 4 days. But I'll keep in touch.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. See ya. Yeah. It'll be a good. Should be a good grind tonight. Good fun. Fly around, have fun night.
Roger.
Did you get the yak? I'm gonna stop the stream.
No, I didn't.